I here for? When you hear that question, what are the first thoughts that come to your mind? Well, it might be fear, anxiety, and worry as you begin to go down that negative existential crisis and you wonder, wow, that's a really tough question. That doesn't have an answer, and you're tempted to tune out. Because when you look at your job today, you might be asking yourself the same question. Why am I doing this job? Is this job even important? Maybe I should just quit, go home, and not do anything for the rest of my life. And if you try and discover your purpose, maybe you've tried many different things. You've tried reading books like The Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren. And on the cover, you see, what on earth am I here for? That's a really great way to attract people, and was the #1 New York Times bestseller when it first came out. And you might have gone for coaching, or you might have bought online courses, and all of that doesn't seem to have worked. And today I wanted to explore why you can't find your purpose. But before we go into why that happens, let's look at two definitions of purpose that you might not have known already. The first definition of purpose is why you do what you do. So that definition of purpose gives you an anchor that helps you to keep grounded even amidst all these seas of change around you. In 2019, I reached the pinnacle of my student career. I was the top of the class, getting first class honors. I was a board director of a £20 million charity. I was regularly speaking at conferences and being asked to write a book. And I had reached the top. But I found that there was absolutely nothing. I share this story not to boast, but I share this story to show that even though I had gotten everything that I wanted, I didn't seem to find a deep sense of meaning and fulfillment through them. That's when I realized that why you do matters much more than what you do. Today, understanding your purpose is about understanding why you do what you do. And it keeps you not just focused on the end goal, but it keeps you focused on the process. Because many times when you look back at your own achievements, you'll realize that when you reached a certain milestone in your life, let's say graduation, or you got a job, or you got your dream career, you might have realized that it wasn't actually as fulfilling or meaningful as you thought it would be. Sure, you felt happy and excited at that moment, but it didn't seem to last. Helping yourself understand your purpose helps you to get off the hedonistic treadmill. It keeps you focused on the process of why you do what you're doing, the purpose, rather than focusing on the point. Meaning you don't just focus on the end goal, but you get to enjoy the process, because in the process, you start to live out your purpose and meaning. The second definition of purpose is what you are purposed for. Today, you can do certain things that I cannot do. I cannot play the piano and I cannot play the guitar. Sometimes it sounds like I'm perhaps horribly slaughtering the tunes whenever I try to play my guitar, and my sisters end up asking me to shut up. Yeah, so you know how bad it is. But today maybe you have some skills. However, you might be tempted not to look at those skills. Many young people end up chasing passion rather than what they're purposed for. When you hear quotes on the likes of Instagram or Pinterest that say, love what you do and you never need to work one day of your life, You think that chasing passion is the solution to all of your troubles. But chasing passion is like flitting from flower to flower, and you never give yourself the chance to build deep work and deep skill in a particular niche. So look at it this way. Your purpose, your passion, what you're interested in, and your skill or what you're purpose for is auto-catalytic, meaning that it is a virtuous cycle. When you build up your skill, you get more interested in what you're doing. And as you get more interested, then it feeds back into your skill level as you are tempted to want to increase the skill level and want to become even better at what you do. So today, ask yourself this question: what is one thing? What is the one thing that I'm uniquely good at? What do people keep saying that I'm good at that I never noticed? In a Chinese saying, it often says 眼在天边,近在眼前. It means that when you're searching for something, often our eyes are on the horizon rather than looking at what is here in front of us. And what is here in front of you is what's within you today. It is your skill. It is something that you do uniquely better than anyone else, or it comes to you much more easily than anyone else. And that is a skill that you can build and reinforce. So you might be asking, well, now that I know this, why can't I find my purpose? Well, the first thing is because you are probably looking in the wrong places. Very often in looking for purpose, we end up looking outwards rather than inwards. We buy another book, we buy another course, we buy another therapist, another life coach, another thing. And we think that will help us to find our purpose. And whilst all these things can be useful, they all provide their own journeys. These books, this advice, this self-help techniques offer techniques that worked for that individual or that group. Your own journey to find your purpose is unique to you. This means that you need to forge and create your own path. And I'm not saying that don't buy all these things are useless, all these things are not good investments of your time and effort. But I'm saying that there is also a need for you to have courage to look within. So take time out and go for a retreat, right? Put your phone away, put it at home, and go to somewhere for a weekend. And ask yourself these 4 questions. What are my values? What do I stand for? Secondly, what do I want to be remembered for? Thirdly, ask yourself, what's my definition of success? And fourthly, what is my purpose? These questions might seem big and difficult, and they're adapted from Daniel Wong's book, The Happy Student. Why are those questions useful as a leaping point? Firstly, in understanding your definition of purpose, you understand what drives you, what keeps you alive, what makes you wake up in the morning, what keeps you excited. Then understanding your definition of success encourages you to look at the process. It looks at your actions rather than the outcome. So today, my definition of success is showing up regardless of what happens. So this means that I can be a success today rather than waiting for that vague, nebulous point where I'll eventually be a success. Thirdly, your values keep you anchored. If today you believe in integrity rather than loyalty, if you see someone cheat, you're going to report him, whether or not he's a great friend, because integrity matters to you. Lastly, what you want to be remembered for helps you to keep your eyes on the end mind, so that each and every day, you're not just thinking about how you can live life for the present, but to live life as a legacy to those around you. And so take time to look within. The second reason why you don't find your purpose is because of this. You're focused on the point rather than the process. In 2019, I was deeply interested in finding out my purpose because I was going on to graduate from university and going to start a career. And I was not sure if I really wanted to do what I had studied. So every single week, I would write out goals, track those goals, and see if I was on track to meet them. I was getting a therapist, I was getting a life coach, but they didn't seem to work. Because in my mind, I had this idea that knowing my purpose was an end point. It was a point of sudden enlightenment, a point where I felt nirvana, sudden peace, fulfillment, and contentment. But it isn't. Finding your purpose is going to be a lifelong process. It's going to change and switch and adapt according to your life's circumstances and situations. So today is about enjoying the journey. Enjoy the journey rather than looking at it as a definite endpoint that you will be at. During my last session with my therapist, after going through more than 30 sessions with her, this was the final one. I was going to fly back to Singapore and the next day, I wasn't going to see her again. In that small little room with the flowers beside the table and a tissue box on the table, she asked me this question. John, if you had 30 seconds left to live, what would you do? At this point, I really wanted to throw the tissue box at her because why couldn't she just let me off? This was the last session. Why couldn't she ask me something easier? And then she started tapping her watch. John, you only have 10 seconds left. And that's when I said to her, well, I'll call my mom and tell her how much I love her. I'll call my mom and tell her how much I love her. You see, when you live life, you might often be focused on what it means for you. Finding your purpose, your passion, what you're good at is really important. But in the process of doing that, I'll encourage you to enjoy the process and to enjoy the people around you. Because when you live life and when you eventually leave life, that is when you depart from this life, you wouldn't say or regret the work you didn't do or say that, I wish I had worked harder. You probably would have said, well, I wish I spent more time with the people I love. And so, why don't you find your purpose? Today we've shared about what purpose is, about how it's about what you're purposeful, your unique skills, and your purpose, and why you live. We've shared about why you don't find it in terms of looking outwards rather than inwards, in terms of chasing the point rather than enjoying the process, and most importantly, enjoying the people that are around you. What was the most helpful thing for you in finding your own purpose? You can feel free to share them in the comments below. And if this was helpful for you, please like,